While the Warriors have the big names, splashy highlights, and great record, this might be the year they're not as invincible as everyone thinks. In order to beat the reigning champions, you need an incredible mix of defense, offense, and a little luck. And there is only one team that has enough of all three of these things to be seriously considered as king killers. And that team is the Houston Rockets. When the playoffs rolled around last year, Harden had just turned in an MVP caliber year and one of the all-time greatest offensive seasons ever. But it was clear by the end that he had run completely out of gas. Daryl Morey shocked everyone by getting into the CP3 sweepstakes out of nowhere, and while it seemed they would have made another move for one more star, they sat tight with the roster they had, comfortable that CP3 did enough for them compared to Patrick Beverley to get them to the next level. And he's been the absolute key to their success. The Rockets have exploded to an 11-game winning streak that coincides with the return of Paul from an injury, two events that are certainly not coincidental. Let's go back one season to look at how Patrick Beverley existed in their offense. While not necessarily a knock on Patrick Beverley, whenever he tried to run the pick and roll, it wasn't always a smooth running affair, and isolating on a big for a step back three wasn't something he was very successful with. Meanwhile, with CP3 running the show, you get someone in complete control of the possession, and is one of the best at getting the switch, then knocking down the shot in the defender's face. And he simply doesn't need much room at all, as he's now using the Harden step back, pushing the boundaries of what a travel is three-point shot. Beverley was a terrible finisher in the lane, and he also didn't see the floor as well as he could have to find the better shot. But CP3 is one of the premier finishers in the lane, able to find any angle off the glass at any speed. And if he didn't like his chances, he can easily find the open shooters for good looks. The key to this is the timing of the pass. He's a step ahead of the defense, snapping the pass to Anderson before his man even knew what hit him. Beverley worked himself into an above-average shooter, but he wasn't consistent, nor was he someone the defenses feared and would stick closer to him accordingly. He was simply terrible shooting threes out of the pick and roll and got up 62 of them last year alone, which resulted in a lot of empty possessions. Meanwhile, CP3 can rain down shots on the opponent when they give him a sliver of daylight getting around the ball screen. He knows exactly how to run his man into the defender, is patient, and has simply been an upgrade in every facet compared to Patrick Beverley. And speaking of the pick and roll, let's dissect the total value of having CP3 in the lineup to take pressure off of James Harden. Just be aware during these clips of how little work Harden has to do, basically able to take whole possessions off while not lowering his usage rate. This is the Spain pick and roll I showed last year when a third screener back screens the ball screener's man. Notice how he gets up in the air for a better view, then hangs in the air for a second to allow Capella to get open in the lane for the dunk. Contrast this with Beverley running the same play, and they can contain this much easier because he's not a three-point threat, and when he tries to make this into an ISO step-back jumper, the ball doesn't even get close to going in. More complete control of the possession. They run a double ball screen into a flare for Anderson. When that doesn't materialize, a nice little two-man game with Capella gets him downhill, and check the slick shovel pass for the layup. He's also the premier snake dribbler in the NBA, able to force the big man to switch onto him, and while the Rockets don't like the mid-range, at least CP3 is elite from here and has been for years, utterly confounding the big man tasked with defending him on the switch. Watch how he can reject the screen and expertly use his body and extra big last step to bounce off yet still finish softly off the glass. You would have thought this was crazy to witness the fourth quarter of a one-point game, 2 minutes left, and Harden just standing all alone in the corner doing nothing. But CP3 manufactures 2 points out of thin air for a huge bucket. Let's take a quick peek at the lineup data in the streak. The starters have been doing okay at plus 8.5, but you can see that they're really struggling defensively to stop people. When they bring Eric Gordon in to replace CP3, they get a pretty nice bump to 18.6, and even though Gordon's three-point shooting has been bad, I expect him to get it back up sooner than later. And D'Antoni has some real possibilities when playing Gordon, CP3, and Harden together in a super small ball lineup that even the Warriors would have to adjust to, posting a plus 75.9 in a tiny sample size, but giving them everything they need on both ends of the floor for a massive advantage. And they can also run CP3 without Harden, and he can shift into more of a scorer's role. It's impressive to see how under control he is, surveying the situation until punishing the mismatch with the step-back three. And it's his vision and passing that adds a whole other level of pressure to the defense. As Ariza cuts through, CP3 is simply looking at Mbah a Moute's man. The split second he sees his concentration worrying about Ariza, he snaps a cross-court pass for an assist on a three ball. Just the fact that D'Antoni can rest Harden and get this type of playmaking out of his pick-and-roll offense is a huge leap for the Rockets. And did I even mention James Harden with the ball yet? This guy is scoring 2.5 more points per game and shooting 2 percentage points better overall than last year, and 5 points better from 3. And there's no doubt in my mind why that is. Paul has good chemistry with Harden, and they just seem to know where each other is on the court. Add to that, this nifty little blocking move CP3 has been doing to help Harden get open for quick threes, and suddenly, this whole offense is supercharged. While Chris Paul's scoring is down a little bit, he's shooting a career high and taking a career high from three-point land. No doubt a direct benefit of Harden's gravity, expert court vision, and superb passing. You add to that the defense, which is ranked 5th in the league, primarily because their center Clint Capella is long and mobile and is a very good rim protector all around. And they added 2 wing defenders in PJ Tucker and Luke Richard Mbah a Moute, who are quick, versatile, and most importantly, tough hombres. It wouldn't be hard to imagine CP3 matching up with Curry, and then Ariza, Tucker, and Mbah a Moute giving trouble to Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson. Clint Capella guarding Zaza and then Draymond when the Warriors go small, and then the X factor will be James Harden, who should have extra energy in the playoffs to give out more on the defensive end. And if they can squeeze out just a few extra misses from Golden State, they certainly have plenty of firepower to outscore them, much like they did on opening night. Their next meeting is January 4th on national TV, and I know everyone will be tuned in to see how these two teams will go at each other, and will undoubtedly be a preview of this year's Western Conference Finals. Sports fans, to see more of our great NBA content and analysis, make sure to hit the subscribe button, but also click the bell and adjust your settings so you can get an alert the second our videos drop, because trust me, you're going to want them hot and fresh. You in?